But then if you haven't been listening to music, how did that make you feel releasing music during this time? Because then did you still feel
Well,
tired?
yeah, well, this is the thing. I don't know if I'm going to be releasing any more music while the world is in the state it is right now.
Hey, this is Griff, and this is Friends Like These for Enemy.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Zedd, and this is Friends Like These for Enemies.
Okay, Anton or Zed, how did we start collaborating?
So this was probably what, a year ago or something like that. I started working on Inside Out almost a year and a half ago at this point. And I slowly started working on the production and then eventually got to the point of needing a singer, which sometimes can be a challenging part for me because I'm always trying to find the perfect match. And I recorded a few singers. I recorded one really talented singer like 3 times, or once myself, and she recorded herself twice. And it just, something about it wasn't magical. Like, I listened to it and a part of me was not getting magical vibes. So then I heard, my manager told me about you, Griff, and I went through your Spotify and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then I think you recorded like a little, I don't know where you recorded that demo, probably in London, or were you in America at this point?
No, so I was in LA around February, and
Okay.
I think it was your A&R Charlie, or I think he works at your label, and he got in touch.
Uh-huh.
Like, could you just try and do a demo? But I was supposed to be leaving LA like 2 days before this happened, but I was obviously like, this is huge. So then we just quickly recorded a demo, and then I think you liked it, and then we flew back out. Literally, I left, had to go do some promo in like Sweden or something, and then we flew right back out to record the vocal again with you.
Yeah, I felt
Um,
bad because I feel like you left back to London like right after the next day or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
You made me come all the way back to LA.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. But
No, it's the best thing ever. I was
I
so
want to say
excited to do
like the
it.
last, I don't know, years and years of songs, I've recorded them all in that exact same room I recorded you in.
I remember
Like,
you
same
saying that,
room,
yeah.
same mic, same chain, same everything. And vocals just sound magical in that room, even though it's not a perfect room by any means. Like, there's
Mhm.
certainly better rooms out there. But I feel like when we got in together, we really were able to tailor it. And I mean, obviously, your performance is absolutely phenomenal. And it
Thanks.
was really, really fun to work with your voice.
Thanks. Yeah, it's funny because I think I've heard stories about how you are very particular with vocals, and I think with like Stay or The Middle, you had so many like people record the
Yeah.
vocals. So I like wasn't even sure like whether the final version would end up being my vocals. So it
It's
feels like a
really a
big privilege
delicate,
to still be on it.
it's a delicate process because, like, I pick a singer because I love what a certain singer sounds like, right? But I also want the singer to sound like what the song wants for me, like what I want the song to sound like. But I never want to go so far that I alienate the personality of a singer. So I can never know how far I can push. And that's why sometimes it's super fun to work. Like with you, it was really amazing because I feel like you brought you into the song immediately. You changed certain rhythms, you changed the way you handled certain notes, and it was like, great. This doesn't change the song; it just makes it you. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's really, really, really difficult. And sometimes I go in with a singer and I try to find this perfect balance between giving me you, that's why I want you, but don't make it something completely different because obviously I love the song. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, it was super fun. It was super fun. And we were really fast. I feel like the session was
Yeah,
quite
it was.
quick.
Yeah. It was smooth.
Griff, what is the meaning behind Inside Out for you?
Um, it's really funny because this is probably one of the first songs that I've sung that I like didn't like write loads of it, and the song was kind of pretty much done when I heard it. But I think it felt so good to sing it, and I love singing things that feel like I can still relate to them. And I think that chorus where it says "I'm gonna love you inside out." For me, everything these days is about like the way things look on the outside, and I feel like everyone gets into relationships because of the way things feel like on the outside, exterior, on an exterior level. And this song kind of flips that on its head and actually says you want to love someone from the inside and for who they are on the inside first.
Hmm.
So I just think it's actually a really, really like beautiful statement to make in a chorus. So yeah. What about you?
For me, I try not to attach myself too deeply to lyrics.
Mm.
Like, even though this sounds weird, the music part of my songs is are the lyrics to me. That's my
Yeah,
instrument.
wow.
That's like my words. So with the
Mm.
production, with the instrumentation, I express my emotions, and the song is super positive to me. It really makes me happy, and it's uplifting. And the other reason I don't want to attach myself too deeply into the lyrics, because I want to give people like yourself the freedom to change things to make it yourself, because ultimately you are the one saying the words, and I don't want to be the one to tell you, no, 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 you say what I want to hear, because I would say that because you say it,
Yeah,
right? So when
right,
you
yeah.
sing it, I always want to leave enough room for singers to be like, you know what, love the song, love the melody, but this is just not something I would be comfortable saying, and I want to say something different. So um, I think as a producer, there's a certain level of you know, showing the singer respect by giving them the freedom to make it their own if you ask them for their voice. The
Yeah.
reason that I felt good releasing Inside Out is because it makes me, it's like therapy to me. I listen to it,
Mm.
it makes me happy every single time for the last 17 months of working on it from the first demo. And it's
Yeah.
never changed me feeling happy about it. So I feel like this is something maybe it will help people, and I would love to be a part of helping other people. Griff, tell me, your new song, A Million Times Better. What inspired you for the song?
Um, this this was cool. This was one of the first like collabs that I'd done, and Hon kind of reached out and just said they liked my music, and I was kind of quite starstruck because I was listening to their music loads, and we kind of got in the studio, and yeah, they had this. They were like, "I've got this title, A Million Times Better," and I don't really know what it means, and I think we ended up just writing it about that one person who I think you can be so low or have a low day or a low week, and there's always that like one or two people in your life that pick you back up and make you feel a million times better. So yeah, it's kind of that simple. Okay, Zed, what are you working on at the moment? Is there an album? How's that going? Tell us about it.
Yes, so I'm working on album number 3. No name yet. And I'm also taking it much slower than I wanted to initially, because a lot of the soul of this album is kind of going back to like my first album or my first 2 albums that is very dance driven. I've maybe made like 3 songs that I know for sure were going on the album, and I wrote one that I haven't started producing yet. Um, and they're all very in the dance world. Now I feel really disconnected from that world right now because I can't be on the stage, I can't perform, I can't be in clubs or at festivals,
Yeah, of
and the
course.
soul of these kinds of songs lives there. So I don't want to make an album and then potentially have to wait a year to release it. So I'm kind of like on standby.
Mm.
And if I really want to work on something, I will do it, but I'm taking it very, very, very slowly, and I'm waiting to get at least an idea of when things may restart. And then I'm going to spend like the few months or so that, you know, it will take until I can have a show to finalize the album and then release it in a time when I can really, you know, perform it
Yeah.
as
Yeah, interesting because did you have any of it kind of done pre-COVID and then did you
well.
have to reevaluate or was it like you're kind of now just kind of figuring out your next
No, the
steps?
irony is that I've been traveling so much playing shows that I never had enough time to be at home to make the album. And
Mm.
now that I'm at home and have the time to make the album, I feel like I have never been less inspired.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to find
Same.
inspiration when you know that the song I'm about to make that I want to go out and play, I'm
Mm.
gonna have to wait a year, and it's
Totally.
just killing me. So I wanna. I'm working on songs that aren't like that could work outside of the club as well. But the majority of the album, I still want to be in the space. So I'm taking it really, really slowly, and I plan to release this album by the end of this year, which definitely I'm not going to do until, you know, the world is in a different place. I feel like the song we
Yeah.
made together is a song you can just listen to always, and especially in a time like right now, it makes me really, it gives me positive feelings. So I
Mm.
hope that, you know, other people feel this uplifting feeling as well. But in terms of my album, some of it is darker and some of it is a little bit more club heavy. I'm gonna be a little bit more patient with that one.
Yeah, great. Love that.
Griff, hit me. Who's your favorite artist of all time?
This is so hard. I'm choosing you, Zed.
No, but
I'm
seriously,
working with my favorite artist of all time.
give me like the top two, top three.
Okay, top three. I'm gonna put Taylor Swift up there because I just love her songwriting.
No?
Lord, I think I love maybe like Haim at the moment. That's my top three at
Okay,
the moment. Yeah,
nice.
yeah. What? Okay, Zed, what's your top three artists of all time?
My top three artists of all time. Number one is gonna have to be Queen.
Yeah.
Um, I think no band or artist has ever inspired me more musically. I can always go back to Queen, and then my brain is like, it's like a drug. I've never done
Love
drugs, but I've done a lot of
that.
research, and I feel like what I read all the time is like certain drugs almost enable your brain to see things that you can't see. That's how I
Mm.
feel about Queen. I listen to Queen, and certainly and right away my brain is like, oh my God, you didn't do this yet, you could do that. Queen, Jeff Buckley, and Silverchair are going to be my top three.
Yeah. Okay, Zed,
Um,
what's your favorite karaoke song?
um, My Heart Will Go On for sure.
Ah, I'd love to hear you sing
I
that.
would not love to hear myself sing that whatsoever, but but I think that's my choice. What about you?
I think I'm gonna go Mamma Mia by ABBA.
Ooh, nice.
I think it's fun. You can have a bit of a boogie while you're singing it.
Yes, there's a good advantage to that one for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Great.
Are there any artists right now that you listen to that inspire you, that, give you ideas that make you happy?
I've just had to go to my Spotify to remind myself who I'm listening to. I think during lockdown I went back to Francis and the Lights a lot because I think he just does these like big minimal like synth lines throughout a song that are like super powerful. Julia Michaels always like inspires me songwriting wise. Yeah, I actually went back to ABBA loads during lockdown when I was feeling really uninspired. So yeah.
That's a great one to go back to.
Yeah. What about you? Who have you been listening to recently to keep you inspired?
I have not been listening to music pretty much at all through
Sad.
quarantine.
I mean, to be honest, same. I feel like yeah, those are like the ones that I could pick from the top of my head, but it's still hard to
Yeah,
pick.
I find it so, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
as far as I know, music consumption in general is down quite a lot
Yeah.
during quarantine. And maybe some people just don't feel like listening to music, like myself. Like I don't know. I don't want to sit down. Like I will check out people's music,
Yeah.
or if my friends produce a song, they're like, hey, can you give me your input on that? I will do that, but I honestly have not been listening to a lot of music at all. I find it's just weird right now. It's such a strange time. I don't even know how to really put it into words because
I know. Yeah.
I feel like my entire life is on standby, and
Yeah.
I'm waiting to continue my regular life of like listening to other artists, getting inspired, making music, playing shows, playing songs out live, making edits. But right now I'm like, no, I'm just gonna hold. Like
Mm.
I haven't done any drive-in shows or anything like that because I'm like, you know what? Let's just wait. Let's wait till
I
we
think
can
it's
do
great
it.
that you're taking a pause though, and you seem to be like okay with stopping as well.
Yeah,
Um,
it's something I had to learn though, because it felt so strange. Every single day I wasn't in the studio at first during lockdown. I
yeah.
felt guilty. I was like, oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
wasting
Same.
another day. I'm wasting another day. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Like, this is just not the most inspiring time. And what's the purpose of creating music when you're not fully inspired? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Totally.
So maybe you can, like, I've been on a fitness kick. I've been eating
I've been
super
seeing
healthy.
this on your stories. You're always on a treadmill.
I was working out. Like, that's not something I'm going to get to do when I'm back on the road. When I spend 150 days playing shows, I'm not going to get the regular day of waking up at the same time. So I feel like there's a lot of things you can do for your soul and
Yeah.
for your mental well-being while this is such a draining time.
Yeah, totally. But then if you haven't been listening to music, how did that make you feel releasing music during this time? Because then did you still feel
Well,
tired?
yeah, well, this is the thing. I don't know if I'm going to be releasing any more music while the world is in the state it is right now. The
Yeah.
reason that I felt good releasing Inside Out is because it's like therapy to me. I
Mm.
listen to it, it makes me happy every single time for the last 17 months of working on it from the first demo. And it's
Yeah.
never changed me feeling happy about it. So I feel like this is something, maybe it will help people, and I would love to be a part of helping other people
Yeah.
feel better. But honestly, in during lockdown, I've listened to more podcasts than ever. That's kind of my music. I just listen to podcasts, long format, 2 to 4 hour podcasts, and that's the music I'm listening to. I know it's weird, but it's kind of, I don't know, kind of like
Okay.
therapy for me.
Recommend me your favorite podcast then.
My favorite is Sam Harris. I would say Sam Harris is my number one. If you wanted like a little more fun and less to think about, then I highly recommend Joe Rogan. He's
Yeah.
got all sorts of guests. And what I love about podcasts
Mm.
is that you can, like, I love Sam Harris, but he could have somebody on that I highly disagree with. And
Yeah,
it's
right.
awesome to listen to him for 3 hours because you're like, okay, you know what? I actually do agree with you a lot more than I thought I do. And our world is so divided. I feel like what is really good about long format podcasts is because you give people the chance to express their thoughts, and then you look at it and you're like, you know what, we're not that different. We're
Mm.
actually in the same boat. We want the best for everybody, but we just have different approaches. So it helps me a lot to accept people's opinions that I disagree with.
Zed, what motivates you as a musician? And I guess you've been doing it for a while now, so what like keeps you motivated as well?
Yeah, I've been making music since I was like 4 years old, and I think for me there's a really big level of satisfaction that comes with this complete project of a song. And it's been different genres. I've, made metal, made jazz, classical music, electronic music, pop. And when I do something great in any genre, it gives me a great amount of satisfaction. And it's just feelings like some people love cleaning their rooms. This sounds crazy to me.
Mm.
Like, I hate cleaning my room and it gives me zero joy at all.
Yeah.
However, a clean room does give me some joy, but I
Yeah.
don't enjoy cleaning. Like, some people love working out, they love the pump and whatever. I'm like, I don't like working out. I do like how it makes me feel after.
Mm.
And making music's just been my biggest passion. Both my parents make music. It's been just in my blood since day one, and I think I just seek that emotion when I make music that I love, that the goosebumps.
Yeah.
What about you? Is there something that motivates you specifically?
I think it's similar. There's something to write a good song, it's actually so hard, and it's just like I think you get a kick out of the challenge, and it only happens like for me once in a blue moon where you write something and you're like, this is like incredible, but you can like you just keep chasing that.
Yeah.
So I guess there's yeah, a real satisfaction about the chase of just like writing a really great song that feels like everything
Yeah.
you want to put out into the world. And then I think also I'm like probably just quite competitive and I feel like I'm so far from where I want to be. So I think there's just a real motivation in just like having to keep going.
Totally.
And I feel like I'm still completely on the up and no one knows who I am. So
I mean,
um,
I remember when you flew into LA to record the song, I was like, so what are you doing? What are you up to next? And you're like, I don't know. I just started my career. Like,
literally,
so
literally, it's
yeah,
only started. Yeah, I'm literally like only a year in. So I feel like just that in
that's so
itself
exciting.
motivates me that
Yeah,
there's just a lot of work to do. Yeah, to get to where I guess I admire other artists as well. So yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah.
I feel that. Do you remember your first ever live show, Griff?
Um, Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, my first ever live show. It was my first like headline show. Like I'd done some like small industry like gigs and stuff, but my first headline show was actually only in November last year, in this like old Victorian hall in London. And yeah, it was really surreal. It was actually my first and last show that I was able to do before COVID, but it was weird seeing people in the audience that weren't my friends and family and actually hearing people sing back my music. That was suddenly like the moment where I was like, oh crap, this is actually happening. So yeah. What about you?
Uh,
Do you remember your first live show?
I actually don't really remember my first live show because I've been doing a lot of like um, classical concerts when I was so young that I don't really even recall.
Yeah,
But
right.
I must have been like 5 years old, 6 years old maybe. And it was probably at some school or some church where I played. And I'm not religious, but it's just for some reason I ended up playing in churches and in
Yeah.
school. Um, and then yeah, and then my band, we played in front of like 6 people
You had a
before.
band?
Yeah, I was in a band for like 8 years. I was a drummer.
Really?
Yeah, we've played in front of nobody. Like I'm pretty sure we have an entire recording of a show where we played in front of like 6 people, and I would think 3 of them were probably security and 2 of them were bartenders
That's
in Munich.
amazing.
And yeah, I've definitely
What
played in front
kind
of
of
that.
music was it?
It was like complicated metal, hardcore metal. Yeah, like
Metal
the
in
shirt
itself
you're
is a bit
wearing.
complicated, so to call it complicated metal was like too much for my brain to handle.
Yeah, yeah. It's like we would write things down, like, this is how we play it. Okay, okay. Like it
Well,
was
yeah,
that kind of thing. But we started out as Muse kind of
yeah.
inspired, Silverchair inspired, all like alternative rock. And then we just went straight into hardcore. So the shirt you're wearing could have been my band's shirt.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit inspired, isn't it? I'm on theme. So
Yeah.
have you met any famous people that have been like a big fan or been like quite starstruck?
Yeah, I definitely have met a lot of people like at my shows that I was super surprised that they would be there. Um,
Like who?
um, Gordon Ramsay
I
is one.
was, oh my gosh, I was literally just gonna say this when you asked me back because I saw he liked the post when he posted about Inside Out, so I was like, oh, Gordon Ramsay knows who I am.
Yeah. No, Gordon's amazing. He came, I should say I had a Vegas residency. So I would play at this club in Vegas like 40 times a year.
Yeah.
And Gordon came out and was like, awesome, I'd love to meet him. And I think he has a restaurant in the hotel
Mm.
and we couldn't get a table and we kind of like hit them up on the side and he took care of us. Then he came to the show and I got to meet him. Super, super nice guy. And then he kept coming back. Like he came like maybe like five
That's
or
so
six
funny.
times to the Vegas show. So yeah, he just ended up becoming a friend. Then I did a little piece with him and yeah, super awesome guy. I was really surprised that he enjoyed what I was doing, to be honest.
I know, I'm surprised. He must be a bit of a dance head back in the day.
Oh,
He loved
I think
that.
he likes it. I mean, he's
Yeah.
been staying up or I'm spacing. I'm so bad right now. The biggest magician of all time, David Copperfield. David Copperfield.
Is it bad that I don't know who David Copperfield is?
Yes, it is. But you can
Sorry.
Google afterward. He's one of the biggest magicians of all time.
Okay, I'm
We
gonna
went to
Google
the
some
show.
videos later and feel very embarrassed that
Yeah,
I just said that
you
on
would probably
camera.
recognize him too.
Okay, good.
But he's crazy. He plays or performs like 3 shows a day for like 7 months, and he
That's
has like
mental.
unbelievable. And he came, and his first show was like early, and he came to my show and was like, just letting you know, we probably will not, because my shows in Vegas start at 1:30 a.m. and they go to
Yeah.
3:30 a.m. at least. So they're
Wow.
really long and late. And he's like with his wife and is apologizing if they can't stay all the way through. I'm like, don't worry. If I were you, I probably wouldn't stay like more than a little bit. They
Yeah,
ended up
yeah.
staying the entire 2 hours, stayed afterwards, and like super inspired. And that really blew me away, I have to say. Even though you
Wow.
don't know who he is, but you have to Google after this.
Sorry, I'm gonna go and do my research later and then I'll feel
Yep.
completely embarrassed I said that.
No, 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 no. It's all good.